Welcome, friends, to the Modern Firm Podcast. Darren, good to see you today.
Hey, John. It's good to be back in Bloomington today.
Yeah, we're going to have some lunch today again.
Yeah.
Feels like old times.
Well, yesterday was 75 degrees. So felt like Florida.
It feels like hope to me. We get some rain and some cold, but it's coming. Golf.
I think there's a storm coming tonight.
Yeah, I know, but it's warming up, Darren. You're going to go back to Florida and miss the storm, but
I'm going to do my best.
yeah, I don't blame you.
Somebody has to do it, though.
That's right. Well, I'm glad it's you. Well, I'm excited about our topic today. Darren, so much has changed since the pandemic, and some of it has been scary. Some of it has been hard on firms. When I think, I talk to firms every day from a staffing and a culture perspective. And at the beginning, it was almost fun. It was almost like, let's do something new. Let's go home and let's play with the dog and get to know each other's kids. And then reality hits. And a year later, you realize, man, this is hard. And that we can't do things the way we used to do things. And I love when we can apply technology, software, new ideas, which is sort of your bailiwick, to what it means to bring some clarity inside of people's jobs and their client experiences. And I really think that's where we're headed today with this conversation.
Well, yeah, I think we want to talk about the intelligent cloud and what does that mean?
Yeah.
This term cloud has been tossed around a lot.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of unpack that a little bit today. But also talk about how important it is to the team that you have.
Yeah.
And having this organized in a way that everybody can accomplish their objectives. Their objectives may be working from wherever they want to work from. Their objectives may be having the best world-class security that they can have to protect the data that is, their clients' data and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just that you take a lot of the friction out of the way your staff works each day. So a bunch of objectives, but we're going to kind of talk through a lot of that today.
Yeah, I love that term friction. Obviously, if you listen to the Modern Firm Podcast, it's a part of our vernacular.
For sure.
The old Jeff Bezos removing friction from the customer experience. But that friction that comes into our firms is caused by these variables and different ways of doing things. And I think the intelligent cloud gives us this opportunity to remove variables, to bring some continuity and some consistency to workflows. And I mean, the way it starts for me, Darren, and I'm just going to jump in here with what I think from my perspective is most exciting for firms. And that's this idea of a single sign-on, a place to simplify access.
Well, I think maybe back up just a
second.
second.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
You did jump in. Let's just talk about what an intelligent cloud platform. That's the way I like to think about this. It's an intelligent cloud platform. Those are three different words that come together for sort of a common meaning. Intelligent means that you're learning from this thing, right? Something is happening. It's smart. Whether that's through leveraging AI or learning to run your firm better,
it's data
or
too,
better data organized, things like that. Cloud, is more than just a web-based software tool. The cloud is bigger than that, because in most firms today, they're probably using QuickBooks Enterprise, which is desktop-based. They're probably using a tax software that's traditionally desktop-based, but they're probably also using QBO and Bill.com and maybe Canopy or something else to run their firm, portals, all this stuff. The average firm, John, uses about 25 different applications in their firm at any given point in time.
It's crazy.
When you think about that. Office 365, there's multiple applications there, and like I said, your tax software, your depreciation software, all that stuff. So as we talk about cloud, we mean all of these tools organized in one place, or one space, as we'd like to say. And then the last word that we're going to talk about a little bit is the concept of a platform. Platform to me is a place where everything comes together and works together. And that's what we want to talk about, is the intelligent cloud platform for your firm. This one space where everything comes together. It's more intelligent, it's all in the cloud, and it's a platform for everything that you use. Does that make sense?
It does. I love to hear you talk about it. There's like this calm in those three words together, because there's sense of just all this chaos right now. And you and I were talking about it before we went on air, just the calls I've been getting lately with some of the chaos that's coming into firms after the pandemic and trying to come back to a hybrid workforce and all of these things. The intelligent cloud platform gives me this sense of like, okay, somebody has thought through this.
Yeah.
There is a way for me to bring this stuff together, remove variables and friction from my firm.
Well, I mean, it's a highly secure, professionally managed space that an accounting firm can trust, where they run their entire firm operations on this. And I think that's critical because, you and I were talking before we started about a firm that you were chatting with. And my guess is they have a very drifted technology strategy, meaning it's been drifting over years. Some of it may be on premise on a server. Some of it may be hosted with a company. But then they're also launching web-based tools in all kinds of different ways, right? So maybe on an employee's laptop, or maybe on somebody's desktop, and maybe it's on a home computer, and it's memorized in a browser with a memorized password. So you have sort of this cluster. Won't use the other word.
I was wondering where you're going with that one today.
This cluster mess of tools with no real strategy.
Yeah.
And the idea of an intelligent cloud platform is there is a strategy. It is in one space. It is being professionally managed and protected and monitored 24/7. So it's a different strategy. So I would start with those. Those are kind of how I see different firms working.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle between you got a complete mess and everything is completely organized in this intelligent cloud platform is where a lot of firms sit. They may have, I don't know, some of their stuff in a hosted environment with one of their software vendors, but that software vendor hasn't provided a platform for everything.
Yeah.
And then you may have other things that are sort of disparate all over the place. Again, launching from different browsers from different places that the firm owner has no idea that these tools are being launched from.
Yeah.
And the passwords being memorized on, all that kind of stuff. So you have complete cluster to sort of middle cluster to highly organized.
Yeah. That's
how I think we should think about the space of, running an accounting firm from an IT perspective today.
As you were talking, it just made me think of my own life and my own, like, just my house. The words professionally managed resonate with me so much as a homeowner, because there's some things I can do, but what I basically do is just fix problems as they arise. And every now and then I realize, wow, this is over my head. And Risha talks me into calling someone who is a professional. And I realize, man, I should not have been piecing together this plumbing.
Yeah.
I should not have just been going to Lowe's on Saturday and putting a patch on that thing. And they come in and they take it out and they put it back and they say, stop going to Lowe's.
Yeah.
Call me. You do what you do.
Yeah.
Let us do what we do. And I couldn't do that when I was younger. I couldn't afford to do that. But there comes a time in maturity where you're like, it's time to grow up. To me, this is an opportunity for firms to go, we need to lean in to professionals who do this well.
Yeah. So I think what would be good, John, is for us to talk about what are the components, the things you should look for in an intelligent cloud platform. What are those benefits?
I jumped the gun earlier, but let's go back to it.
All right, you start.
Well, that first one that I just am so excited about, because I think it has so many implications for removing variables from staff, is just simplifying access to all of the apps in your firm. You mentioned 20-some apps. I know firms that are a lot higher than that. They just keep adding stuff. I feel like every time they see a problem, they want to solve it with another $14.99 a month for a piece of software or whatever it is, and it just adds up. And I think being able to remove some of those variables is a big benefit for your team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first concept is the notion of a single sign-on.
Yeah.
Most firms have never experienced this. So when you go into an intelligent cloud platform, there's one password to get in. And when you enter that one password, which, the firm can make that a passphrase, they can make it, really complicated. You can do whatever you want, right? But there's one password for your staff person to get in, Because realize an intelligent cloud platform, none of this stuff resides really on any machine of your staff person's.
Mm-hmm.
That staff person is only accessing this desktop in the cloud.
Yeah.
Through a browser, right? So it's through a browser in the cloud. They enter one password, and that password gives them access to the curated tech stack that the firm owner has decided.
Yeah.
Right? So whether that is, tax software, QuickBooks Enterprise, depreciation software, Canopy practice management, go through the list. Office 365, one password, single sign-on when you get in.
Yeah.
So when you think about what it looks like to onboard an employee, maybe you have different role-based tech stacks inside as sub-tech stacks of your tech stack. So maybe you have a bookkeeping person that needs access to 7 of the 25 apps that you have.
Custom
that can be a
permissions.
role.
Yeah.
So if you hire a new bookkeeper, you can immediately onboard them with one password for them into those 7 applications.
Yeah.
On the other side of that is when that person leaves, you can offboard them
At one
the
time.
same.
Yeah.
I mean, think about inside your firm, you have somebody leave and they have 25 different
It
applications.
happens a lot.
And it may be to bank accounts, it may be to, QuickBooks Online accounts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's complicated. So single sign-on, I think, is critical. So I'm going to take this just one step further, John. So it's super important to have one password as you get into an intelligent cloud platform to work on all the tools.
Yeah.
It's another thing once you start assigning clients to a staff person. So let's say now we have a bookkeeping person, and that bookkeeping person has, 50 clients. And those 50 clients, they need access to their QuickBooks file, they need access to their bank account, they need access to their American Express, to their Visa, to Bill.com. There's 5, right? I just named the simple ones. There's 5 times 50 clients. They now have access. They have 250 passwords.
It's mind-boggling.
In that need to be onboarded
Yeah.
and offboarded. This is the complexity that accounting firms are dealing with. So if you could have a single sign-on when you come into the platform for the firm curated tech stack, and then also have a single sign-on to get access to all the clients and the apps that you're logging into for clients, imagine the burden that takes off of you as a firm owner when you onboard and you offboard a staff. And then also think about the friction that it removes from the staff person
On a daily basis.
Absolutely. Hourly basis, just switching
Just
between
the
apps
efficiencies
without.
you're gaining
Right.
immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's significant. So I think single sign-on is a massive, massive value add for an intelligent cloud platform.
And we jumped in a little bit in the midst of that, onboarding and offboarding employees and dealing with credentials. Man, what a hard time it is to onboard an employee in a hybrid work environment in your firm, or a remote employee somewhere in the middle of nowhere, when you aren't in an intelligent cloud platform environment where you have to somehow remotely give them access to this stuff and train them and go through all of this stuff. This is the answer that a lot of firms are looking for in terms of onboarding right now.
Yeah, I think onboarding is super critical. I think offboarding is even more critical because now they have access. Right.
Which happens more often than we want to admit.
All the time.
Yeah.
When you think of an intelligent cloud platform, again, I mentioned earlier, the staff person is not really operating on their device.
Yeah.
They're operating in a browser on a device that's in the cloud. Right? So everything is in the cloud. So if that staff person said, hey, I'm going to go home and work, and they close their laptop and they go home and they open their laptop back up, as soon as they authenticate, they're back. If they had UltraTax open and Canopy open, it's still open.
They're back.
Right? They're back. They're functional. They're operating. And when you decide you're going to offboard an employee, as soon as you click and terminate them, their status, everything's gone.
You know, when you said that, Darren, it made me think, this podcast is called The Modern Firm. The idea of modern is something we've talked about for a really long time. And I think there is a desire for people to be modern, to move to a different way of working, to move to a different way of serving their customers. But I think sometimes they get ahead. They get ahead of themselves. They begin to move faster than their infrastructure. And I wonder if that's what we're feeling a little bit with firms who have gone hybrid or who have gone remote with some of their work and who have keep adding this software. They want to be modern. They want to keep moving. But this is what kind of allows them to undergird all of that energy with something that will be sustainable and will keep all of the variables away from their firm.
Every time a firm owner randomly adds something to their tech stack, they're increasing risk.
Yeah.
Risk because now you have a bunch more passwords.
Yeah.
Risk because staff people are launching it from their, machine at home on maybe their less than secure network at home.
Yeah.
So it's the Wild West for IT in most of these businesses. And, hackers have learned and understand this, right? And so with the advent of AI tools, bad guys have AI tools too.
Yeah.
Right. And they may be adopting them at a more rapid pace than other people. Accounting firm owners have to take this seriously.
Yeah.
So I think single sign-on management, onboarding and offboarding, those are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
But those are two really critical value propositions of being in an intelligent cloud platform.
And all that then gets us to a third, and that is just this centralized place for security. Well, my wife works next door at the accounting firm, and middle of tax season, had an employee click on something they shouldn't have. He knew it immediately, went and talked to her, said, I clicked on something. It was something I shouldn't have clicked on. We have a problem. In the middle of tax season, it could have taken her all day to deal with that. Instead, called the professionals, and cavalry's on their way. Immediately have some help.
mean, the firm is in, Rightworks OneSpace.
OneSpace right now.
And so I'm assuming what Risha did was fill out a support ticket instantly.
Yep.
And was instantly responded to and dealt with from a professional perspective.
Professionals on the way.
It wasn't calling your local IT guy,
right,
coming in and thinking about restoring from a backup
or worse,
somewhere.
Googling it,
right?
Which is what she would have done.
So there's this whole notion of having a secure, again, intelligent cloud platform that's secure, managed by professionals 24/7 with that support, at your fingertips. That's a significant value add.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea of security, we've been talking about this for a really long time, and it has just gotten to the point where it is moving so fast. It is so ubiquitous. I mean, it's everywhere in your firm. It's time for the professionals, and
it is.
Trying to manage it yourself does not make sense in the long run. So.
Yeah, totally agree. And then really the last one, I think, John, is this idea of elevating what it means to collaborate with clients.
Yeah.
When everything is in a centralized platform for your firm, we'll call it OneSpace. You can also put your clients in a OneSpace that's connected to your firm, not in your firm's stuff, but connected to your firm. And that allows your clients now, let's just say it's your small business clients, allows your small business clients to be in a secure, single sign-on environment that they can onboard and offboard employees and work more efficiently throughout the day because of single sign-on. So now all of a sudden, you're advising your clients to work in the same manner that you're working. The other benefit of that, it allows you as a firm to really collaborate with those clients in real time.
Yeah.
Right? To be making changes, to understand what they're doing, to be a partner with that client, advising, having access to information, them having access to information in real time. That's the next level what we would call client collaboration is client collaboration in an intelligent cloud platform.
Yeah, man, I love the conversation. Every time you bring your clients and your team together, what we've been saying is that your two most important assets are right here, supported by the intelligent cloud platform. I think
two most important assets or critical assets are your staff,
yeah,
and your customer base,
and both of them are supported
right
in this way. So, as we think through this, Darren, I just want to ask a question that I feel like you always get asked. But I think you're a really good person to answer this. What keeps people from moving is often a mindset change. What kind of mindset change, what kind of different posture towards thinking about your firm do you have to think about moving to an intelligent cloud platform at this point?
I think there's, if I have to think of maybe the I don't know if it's the biggest barrier to entry, but it's one of the barriers, is you're moving to real-time, professionally managed IT infrastructure in the cloud. There's a cost associated with that.
Yeah.
Right? So some firms may think, I'm going to save a few dollars and not do this, which they do that at their own peril. From my perspective. They lose efficiencies. They increase their risk. So they're losing efficiencies because you have staff trying to log in and do all this stuff all day long. They increase their risk because nobody's really professionally managing that network at all. And you have the Wild West of passwords out there. And firm owner thinks of it as just sort of out of sight, out of mind. It's not a problem until it is. But I can tell you when it is, it's a real problem. Right? It becomes really expensive. So I think cost is oftentimes an issue. I think firm owners need to look at that. This is a cost of doing business and securing. I'm on the board of a publicly traded bank, and one of our biggest expenses each year is our IT infrastructure. Right? Protecting our customers' data. And it's a thing. Right? Because banks are constantly targeted, but I would also say accounting firms are targeted. So this is about a mindset, kind of back to your point that, man, I'm protecting my most important assets here. I need to spend some money doing this. I think the other thing that keeps firms from moving is one, not understanding what it is. Right? Not understanding this is all in the cloud in a single place. And it's securely protected. I think they just lack awareness of what that means. Because you would normally just think, I'm just going to move to all cloud-based solutions. Well, I think 5 years ago, that was a common strategy. I'll just wait till everything's in a browser and then I don't need my servers anymore. I think that there's fallacy in that strategy today, in that now you've allowed every employee from any device to have access to passwords across all devices, across all networks, right? And you've created kind of chaos. Your risk profile has increased dramatically, as opposed to having all this curated in one space. I mean, if you just think about that word, John, curated a second, the idea of me as a firm owner can say, these are the 25 tools that our firm has access to. And maybe we curate that down to 20 or whatever it is, as opposed to I have a staff person and they can put anything they want on this company device. Those are vastly different ways of managing your network and locking it down. Does that make sense?
It does. Good answer. I think, Darren, anytime as we close this conversation up, anytime we can use you call it the Wild West, we can begin to kind of bring some clarity to it. I think it's good for our team. I think it's good for our own psyches. When I think about being modern, I think about doing the hard work it takes to take chaos and wrangle it. And to me, that's what the intelligent cloud platform is, this place to get rid of the variables, to remove some of the chaos, and to be more intentional about how you run your firm, which is what it means to be a modern firm.
Yeah, I totally agree, John. If I were to give firm advice in 2024, it would be to get this figured out.
Yeah.
Right? Secure your data. Get into an environment. Remove the friction. Know the passwords. Get a single sign-on. This all happens with this move.
Yeah.
A move into one space. Into an intelligent cloud platform.
Fantastic. Hey, it was a fun conversation. Let's go get some lunch.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on The Modern Firm.